I slid in his DMs.
Wait, no.
And I would
you slid into Andrew Tate's DMs? I would love to see you at the WWE.
Just imagine me doing that. All 4 ropes, jumping, full-blown frog splash.
I was there for that. I was on the jet.
I have no recollection of you being on that jet.
Yeah, you're drunk a lot for that.
If there were no cameras, would there have been a wedding? No. You know what I mean? Like that was a PR
Wait,
stunt.
you guys were actually like
I'm not speaking about him in any
Okay, but you had feelings?
Yeah, I for sure really cared about him.
It was crooked in the line. It was to the front.
Hey, everybody do me a favor and shut up for a second. Hi. Welcome back. We're just going to get right into what the fuck was that?
I thought I had a
Did you just do drugs in the very beginning of
Imagine I'm just like doing like DMT right now.
Guys, if you can't notice who my guest is by the voice, it's Tana. Can I ask you something? How do you pronounce your last name?
Mojo.
Like Mojo
the look
Jojo?
Of, like pure shock on your face is like I swear to God, I'm gonna be doing this for 20 years and people.
It's not Mongeau?
It's not Mongeau. But I'm not gonna lie, like at least you and Mike, I gave up on you guys ever pronouncing it correctly.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Are we the only ones that get it wrong?
I don't want to say yes, you know, but I get it. You know what I mean? It's like someone smashed their face on a keyboard. Like I wish my last name was just like Smith, you know?
Mongeau.
Mojo.
Sorry, fuck.
Mongeau.
Look. You're the first guest that we have where we have a monitor because we started Googling a lot of things. And look.
I'm so scared of the things on Google. It is just crazy the amount of different versions of me, like where the filler has just migrated or been placed in every single one of those photos is fucking dark.
Okay, but Google does everybody dirty. You know what I mean? Like, nobody opens Google Images and is like, I love everything.
That's
you know?
so true. That's so true. 100%. It's just, it is scary. And it's the drama of it all. Oh my God.
Google's drama.
I like really refrain from Googling myself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jessica, Google something else. That was a terrible idea. I thought I was going to.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I knew today I'm coming on. I know we're going to get into the juice. I know we're going to crush it.
This is the first time where I'm going to have like a one-on-one with you. And I want to like ask all the questions I've been hibernating in my heart to ask you.
This is our for some reason I felt like we'd done something like this, but we really fucking haven't.
We talk, we hang out, but it's never been like a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm sorry, not one-on-one.
Yeah, that's cool. I would mean.
I just
like
treated you like myself on Impulsive.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You guys are one though. You
we're
know what
one.
I mean?
You're, you know.
You know, when the first time I ever when I was on Impulse, and actually this is like a really meaningful thing that I never got to tell you. When I first got on Impulsive, I was nervous because it was already a very successful show. And it was the first time I ever got to show who I really am.
Yeah.
And like no jokes, like just this is my heart, this is what I chase.
Yeah.
And I was getting a lot of love from, friends and family. But the one time that I was like, oh, I'm on the right path and this might be something beautiful is when you pulled me aside in a party. And you looked at me and you said, hey, I just want to let you know, you make Impulsive everything. And like, I really love what you bring to the table. And that stuck with me. And anytime I was ever in my head about who I was, I would just think about what you said and I would just like push through.
George, that is so nice.
No, it was, thank you for saying that.
And my drunk ass was just like saying some shit.
Oh, she was drunk.
Whatever.
She didn't even mean it.
No, I'm
Doesn't
kidding.
even remember
The
that.
one fucking thing that I like held on to, just like.
Well, I'm kidding. I've always said that about you. I think that I'll always love a show where there is a dichotomy of different, outlooks and perspectives and stuff like that. And I think that I just appreciate someone in any regard where you can tell that they are in a situation where it would be very easy to stray away from who they are or put on an act, or maybe it could have been very easy for you to just agree with everything, or very easy for you to become a certain way, but you can tell through and through that you have stuck to who you are, and I will always have an utmost respect for someone who does that. So when I said that, I meant that,
I really appreciate it.
So nice,
and you always have been like super like in my corner. When I started this podcast, as I've mentioned in the past, I didn't want to do guests.
Yeah.
Because I was just nervous, bro. In my mind, I would be like, why would anybody want to be on this show when they could go talk to me on Impulsive? And then I had a list of people reach out to me personally, be like, yo, I'm next. I want to be on the show.
Yeah.
And you were one of them.
Well, I support always, and I've always had great conversation with you, and you know what I mean? I fucking support.
I love it. I want to dive into you. This is your episode. And
God damn it.
I just want to let you know. First of all, let's get into some fun shit that people want to know about.
So gosh darn it. I'm so sorry.
You can say whatever you want.
I'm just kidding.
When we go to the Golden Bridge, I'm going to be like, yo, I don't know.
I don't know that bitch.
I mean, she liked my podcast. Like, she's pretty good. Let her in. I want to know a little bit about you before you like the Vegas you, that version of you. But before we get into that, just go ahead and click that beautiful picture with Jake Paul in it.
Oh my God.
Are you cool with Jake Paul right now or no?
I guess, yeah.
Your ex-hubby?
To my knowledge.
That's your husband, though.
That was in that moment. Yes.
Can we talk about that? What the fuck was that, bro?
What a time in your life.
Such a fucking, it's funny because I uploaded that vlog today of us in Miami and I clickbaited it. Like, Logan like said he was talking about this wedding moment and I was clickbaiting it. Like Logan's real opinion on whatever happened. So it's like been prevalent today. Sincerely, I mean, we are me. I shouldn't speak on his behalf. It was a do anything for clout era.
It's announced that it was kind of like a...
I mean, if you're live streaming a wedding with a fake Oprah and every influencer in the world there that's sponsored by Doses of Roses and every other sponsor.
Wait, are you talking about yours or Layla's?
I really don't know the difference. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. They are. I think they'll last far longer than this moment lasted.
I couldn't do that on impulsive, bro. I go, fuck, who's gonna fire me, my sister? Dude, fuck you, by the way, because I didn't know that shit was fake, and I'm sitting next to Pam, and when the fight broke out, I tried to protect her and got punched straight in the fucking nose.
And it's funny because right before that, like couple weeks before everything, it was like talks of a PR stunt at the wedding were getting kind of flooded in the meetings, obviously, because people have meetings for real weddings, you know. And I was like, I don't think we necessarily need a PR stunt. This is the PR stunt.
Yeah, the whole wedding.
Yeah. So the fight of it all was not my idea or cosign or anything. And Pam Stepnick's the best. Dude, she's just, we love it. She's so supportive and awesome.
Nah, yeah, that's great.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I was just on Josh Peck's podcast and we were talking, he was kind of talking to me about how he was on Drake and Josh and he was, and these are his words, I would never say this, he was the fat kid and everyone loved him for that. And that character did so much for so many people, but he spent so much of his life then trying to get away from that. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that kind of comes with fame and shit. And I'm sure you can attest to this with even something like Impulsive. You do major, massive things in your career that will forever be bullet points that people kind of talk about and bring up. And to me, this was now so long ago that I've processed it in every possible way that you could process it. You know what I mean? Like I cared about him so much and there was very much so real feelings there for me and stuff like that as well. But obviously if there were no cameras, would there have been a wedding? No. You know what I mean? Like that was a PR
Wait,
stunt.
you guys were actually like...
I'm not speaking about him in any...
Okay, but you had feelings?
Yeah, I for sure really cared about him. And you know what I mean?
He's a great kid.
He is. And I wish him like nothing but the best now. And it's been so long. And it's like, it's just, I know that it's something people will always bring up. But now I'm just kind of like, to me, that was just a day where something happened. And maybe a year where things happened and stuff like that. Yeah. But I can now say that I've just like moved on from that like chapter and it's funny to look back at and it kind of goes in the bullet points of my career along with TanaCon and whatever the fuck else I'm sure you could throw in there, you know?
Yeah. It was like one of your greatest roles. You know?
Oh my God.
Well, also it's cool, bro. Like think about like, I know whatever you feel about it now, regardless of how you feel about it, like, dude, a lot of people are going to remember that.
For sure.
And so you are tied in with their memories. And I think that's a really cool thing to like, it was just, I'm glad I was a part of it. Even though I got punched in the face. I know like there's a lot of memories in that day that I was like, dude, this is, we don't see it now, but one day when we're older and we have our families and everybody's doing their own thing, these are the memories that we're going to remember. And you started that one.
Yeah, for real.
For sure. I agree with that 100%. Like I can look back at all of the memories I had in my Paul era and I'm so grateful for them and I wouldn't trade them, you know, like it was so much fucking fun and it was crazy. And I remember the moment like on the way to the wedding where we kind of looked at each other and we were like, I think we both had like multi-millions of story views and like just knowing how many people were like looking at this shit and being like this, no matter how we feel about it as people, this is like a part of some internet, maybe some YouTube history, maybe this is, you know, like I can understand the gravity and weight of how many people's eyes were on that, and maybe what that moment means to other people and shit like that, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If we could go back in time and talk to a 16-year-old Tana, what was her heart heading towards? What was her fears? And then my third question is, did you think you were going to be where you're at right now?
I guess just to answer the third one, absolutely not. I had no idea. I've always been a very take it day by day person. Like even today, I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm very in the moment. Like I am, you know, prepare for the future, all that fucking shit. But I mean, I like to really take things moment by moment. And what did you say? What were her fears and what were
what were your fears? Like I think at 16 years old, I think everyone's fear at 16 is kind of something you fear at your age now.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was it that was haunting your heart that you were scared of the future?
I think that I very much knew that this was, I don't ever want to say like my one shot, but like that this was all I had. Like that, like what I was building and what I was doing and stuff like this was kind of my way out of a life that I really didn't want. So you know what I mean? I knew in that moment, like
what was the shot?
All you got, I guess, to make a successful life for myself, maybe.
Were you doing this at 16? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. What age did you start this whole
I started vlogging at like 15 probably.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I just started to kind of notice that people might like it at like 16.
What inspired you?
So I think I grew up watching YouTube crazy. And I still am like, at heart, I will forever be a YouTube nerd. It is like who I am to the core. Even to this day, nothing will make me happier than making a vlog and posting it. It's the thing I'm the most passionate about and like love so fucking much. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
I grew up watching YouTube and I was always just very obsessed with the idea of like, I loved Shane Dawson. I loved Jenna Marbles. I loved like Smosh, like all those OG like type of YouTubers. And I was obsessed with the idea that I could leave my life that I didn't like for 5 minutes of my day and engulf myself in someone else's and forget about all my problems and laugh with them. And I was obsessed with the idea of being able to do that for someone else, you know?
I love that. Okay, so you were escaping your reality and helping others escape theirs.
I guess, yeah.
So when did you start vlogging when you started when you were 15? Was it your day, your makeup?
I remember I started thinking I was going to be like a daily vlogger, like whole, like whatever. And then at the time I had just dropped out of high school. I was working a minimum wage job. I quickly realized that there wasn't much to daily vlog there. But I grew up in Vegas. So I think that created for a very exciting, psycho, turbulent, wild, grow up too fast type of childhood and life. So I had a lot of stories, and I've always just been the type of person who attracts weird ass, wild ass shit, you know? So, and people and, you know, everything. Just some might say that's bad luck. Some might say that's good luck, I guess, in my scenario. But I just, nothing is ever fucking normal in Tana's world. Nothing ever is going to go the way it's supposed to or planned or whatever. So I started telling stories about my life and calling it like story time. And then that took off on YouTube, that whole thing, like story time, and other people started doing it and all that type of stuff. And I kept doing that for a really, really long time and just kind of eventually pivoted that into my entire life. Like, you know, podcasts, I'm telling stories, different things. I'm telling my story, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Have you ever wanted to do stand-up?
Absolutely. I was at a stand-up show last night, and I was like, I could see myself in my like 30s, that kind of being my vibe. When I was like maybe 18 years old, I did a little like stand-up story time tour around the world, and I loved it. And I think at some point I would love for that to be a part of my life, because I love to write and I love telling fucked up jokes. I love it all.
I could totally see that, right?
I think that should be your lane, to be honest. And I think it's
100%.
a full circle type of event. Like, you know, you started your career and it grew from story time. And when you're on stage, all you do is tell stories.
100%.
I would love to bring you on stage to like these places where the phones are put away and so you could really just feel what it feels like to be in front of a crowd and feel safe.
Yeah.
If you would like, I could definitely.
I would totally take you up on that.
That would be really
I feel
fun.
like you would be a really awesome, like, because I know you would be like a safety blanket. You know what I mean? To start doing something like that. I just keep staring at this photo of fucking Jake Paul.
Hey Jess, could you change
Put a
that?
butterfly or something.
Put some puppies up there.
No, just get rid of her
Awful
face. Get her
tune.
face.
What
Get
was
rid
I
of her
doing
face.
there?
No, you look beautiful.
But
yeah,
that's
all
not
these
me.
pictures are gorgeous.
Like, who was I making myself there? I don't know. I think I just every day I woke up and I was like, what? Who do I
No,
wanna be
Jessica, you
today?
just minimized it. Get rid of it.
Google butterfly.
I'm so sorry. We're looking for a new sister.
No, she's
A new sister.
we love to see it. Honestly, no. We're shooting canceled podcast out of my house now for season 2, and
Let's go.
We're figuring shit out. It's a good vibe.
Do you like shooting at home?
I fucking love it. But everyone around me, I think, wants me in a studio somewhere because the comfortability of being at home for me might not be good for me. Like, I'm just my timeliness and my you know what I mean? I'm downstairs like, which earring? And everyone's like upstairs with their headphones on like, bitch, you're 30 minutes late. So it's like we'll see where that goes, but it's fun for now.
I like it. I like the house vibe because I feel like come to my home and let's discuss things openly and like open-heartedly. I grew up in a very Middle Eastern like vibe, and the one thing that I loved is when you went to somebody's house and it felt like it was your home, and those conversations would fly.
100%.
And any Middle Eastern man would know this, or woman, when your Middle Eastern parents go, hey, okay, kids, we're leaving, that's another hour. By the time they put their shoes on and get to the door and and I realized that the conversations flew when you're most comfortable.
100%.
So if I could get you guys to feel comfortable in my home, I think that's when the beauty could come out, and we could talk about more than just like the internet clickbait things. I want to be different than other podcasts. I want to have the conversation I have off cameras in front of cameras, because I feel like 90% of the conversations that we have off camera is really what the internet should be providing
100%.
for the people. Yeah.
100%. And you know that both are fun. It's fun to have the fucking psycho clickbait conversations, but it is nice to get deep and have a good, wholesome moment with someone that you might not necessarily always have on camera. And you guys have a very comfortable, amazing home. My house is like very stale, like doctor's office. Like, there's no warmth there. I need to figure that out. Like, I need like some lamps and shit.
That's how mine was until Belle came up.
Honestly.
She literally goes, what are you, a fucking surgeon? Dude, get something here. And I was like,
get a plant.
No, we were just like,
we got to put them up there.
Yeah, we left things so plain for so long, and then I woke up and I was like, we're finishing things. It's been 3 years in this house, and we like hadn't finished the blinds, hadn't finished. I was like, I'm getting pillows for the couch.
Look at you go,
like,
though.
You know,
and you need that. Like, it's incredible. And see, I wish I was like that. I almost feel like I'm the man stereotypically in that situation. Like, I need someone to come in and like cutify my world.
It's hard finding things.
Yeah. You guys have been living together for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been together?
Almost 4 in July.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you getting married soon? You gonna have a Lele wedding?
Hey, man. Fucking shut up, dude. Oh, you didn't even have headphones. She's the only one that heard that. Oh, that's so funny.
I'm so excited for the wedding era. Hopefully I'll be invited.
Of course, you'll be invited.
If you guys want that, I don't know.
No, we do. Anyways, next topic. No,
God.
well, no, it's just because, I don't want to like talk about it, and then I want to make sure it's beautiful. I want to be about it. Like, when it happens, I want to be about it.
Honestly, respect and understandable.
Yeah, and also it's like and me and her did such a great job doing this. We show the internet what we want to show the internet, and then we keep it very respectful and tight in our home. So like, there's a lot of things that we keep it here because when there's a lot of eyes and ears in the kitchen, it deteriorates the authenticity of a good relationship.
100%. I struggled with that for a really long time. It's when you have a relationship that the public know about and they want to know about, and especially when people love it and they ship it and they want more of it, you can find yourself getting caught up in, wanting to give the people, wanting to give the people what they want to see, or fabricating, a perfect relationship.
Yeah.
Because it does well, or because people want to see it and whatever. So I think that's very important for a healthy relationship where you're on the internet, you know what I mean? To find that line that you draw. Otherwise it can get very
totally, yeah.
Very
sketch.
Then some memories are tainted, you're like, come on, let's just take a picture because it'll look cute. And then you're kind of like, when the boyfriend doesn't want to, the girlfriend doesn't want to,
Oh, yeah. And you look back on those photos and you're like, I fucking hated you that day.
I forced you to do that.
We're kissing on a beach and you're grabbing my ass, but I fucking wanted you to burn it.
I was like, grab my ass,
Burn
look
it.
cute.
Yeah.
Just for future reference, because this happens every podcast. If I point at you and I go like this, like every time, that means my nose is dripping and I need napkins.
Oh my God.
Every fucking podcast, this is what I go through.
See,
And she goes,
See, I need that. I need that over on my set. Mine would be like for my vape or something.
Just
like I would need.
Give me the dick.
Yeah, absolutely. Like mine would be fucking.
Dick. What was that? How do you blow your nose like that?
Yeah.
She didn't even blow her nose.
No, that
Jewel. Her
vape.
Oh.
Like mine would be like for a vape or like deodorant. I'd be like, I don't even know what I would need. Or like lighter, like something awful.
Speaking of relationships, what's going on in your love life? If you're
Yeah.
respectfully willing to talk
I'm like,
about
what did I just fucking say, George? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying.
Are you with somebody or you're not?
I just went through the most amicable breakup
Wow.
I've ever fucking had. And I'm like smiling. Like it was like such a good experience, which is like some tweaker shit. I know. But
Damn.
sorry. A little too excited about my breakup there. It's a little fucking weird. I was dating this guy. I went through an era last year. Era is my word right now. So if I say it so much, I do this thing where I like hyperfixate on a word, and it's definitely era. I went through this era last year. I would say the last like 6 to 8 months where I had just dated so many. I'm like famous pieces of shit. No, but like.
So the other one wasn't amicable.
Yeah, and I mean, so many people in the public eye, so many crazy musicians, so many. I loved a toxic relationship. I felt like I only was having fun if I was on a roller coaster type of thing, you know, and I had to learn through very toxic situations and breakups that. You don't have to wait to get out of a house until it's burning. You don't have to, that's the push and pull isn't love, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And I think after I kind of learned that, I also was like, for a second there, very anti that. I was like, I want to date a barista. I want to date an accountant. I want to date a fucking pastor, you know, like which I've still yet to do. So if there's any pastors watching this is a good, if pastors are watching any podcast I want, it's this one. So, but
Mary Magdalene said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody get that? No one here reads the Bible, huh? Okay.
I got that. But.
Okay.
That's why she's the one, you know? But after that era, I was almost very anti. Like, if you make music, if you're in front of a camera, God forbid you have a face tattoo, stay the fuck away from me type thing. So I entered what I had been calling my normie era. I was on Hinge. I was swiping through. I wanted a normal guy with a normal life who did normal things. And I dated one normal guy. He ended up moving across the country. Didn't really work out. But I was like, I like this. I you know what I mean? Someone who maybe doesn't give a shit about my world and likes me for me, and we can meet together at the end of the day and just talk about our polarizingly different days, and it's a good fresh change. And I started dating a guy who is from my hometown. He's best friends with my best friend. I've known him for a while, and we had a really awesome relationship together, and it was great. But he lived in Vegas, and we kind of really were dating and super happy through the holidays, and I was home more, and it was great. And then I came back to LA and my life, and the long distance was just very hard. He couldn't really come here a lot. And I suck at kind of dating through the phone as well.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And if we are dating through the phone, you have to be very good at that to get me to want to put in the effort, and we both just kind of weren't. And it was like towards the end, I remember being like, I adore you, but I have better conversations with my accountant over the phone, and I can't go to Vegas every 2 days. So we both just kind of knew it wasn't working, and I swear to God, our breakup was like a Starbucks order. We were like, yeah, man, like I'll have a venti ice breakup. And it was very sweet, and we're still great friends. So now I'm gonna go back to dating famous pieces of shit. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but
dude, that's amazing. I'm happy for you. I mean, it's hard, like realizing, you know, okay, what are the things that are maybe putting me in the situations and kind of breaking the cycle. Yeah, you know, because it's like something you just get used to, and that's what you think that you like deserve.
For sure.
You know, so to be able to realize that, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
Thank you. You're such a fucking cutie, sweetie. I love you. But yeah, I think I had to just realize that, you know, the toxicity, I was looking for love in the wrong places, and I had a lot of self-realization to kind of figure out and shit like that. And now I think I've got that a little figured out, but I am back in my single era. which mainly just means I'm doing me and working a lot and really focusing on life. But single Tana does get caught up in some situations, so we'll see.
It's good for business.
Yeah.
It's canceled podcast has been me just airing out my single life lately when we've been shooting these episodes. So it'll be interesting.
Got any stories for us?
Oh my God.
Nice question.
It's a great question. I'm juggling right now. I shouldn't say that. That's fucked. Fuck. I'm kidding. The DMs are open. The life is flowing. Things are happening. People are coming back out of the woodworks, and we'll see what happens.
I just love how you retracted what you said and then just doubled down by 3 different versions of that.
Absolutely. I know. But I'm being smart with my decisions here. Now, like I've got a better head on my shoulders.
I love to talk about relationships because I think what we're discussing is what I usually bring up as pattern and potential.
Yeah.
And so when you're going into this realm of being single, as a friend, I want to share something that somebody shared with me that really, really changed the game. And it brought me a beautiful girlfriend and opportunities for me to respect it and understand it.
Yeah.
And the notes that he gave me was humans fall in love with potential because that's all we do, right? Me and you, what we're working on is our potential self, our future self. We're working at, okay, if I do this, then I'm going to be here. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to be there. And we do that with our loved ones. And a lot of people go, well, he's great, but one day when he stops drinking, he's great, but one day when he stops gambling, he's great, but one day he stops yelling at me or being toxic. And you need to fall in love instead of potential patterns. What is he doing now?
100%. I've said that for so long. I will fall in love with someone so hard for what they could be. Mm-hmm. And that's like a very scary, and I'm like that with my friends as well. You know what I mean? Like I love them. Maybe like I overlook things because I know what they could be and stuff like that. And I definitely noticed myself a while back being in that pattern. Like when I love someone, like I want to do everything for them and fix them and help them and carry them even on my back. You know what I mean? And I definitely found myself doing that a lot. But
so close to you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I found myself doing that a lot. And now I definitely, for the past year or so, I've tried to be pretty hyper aware of that, especially when it comes to new dating, because now it's like I'm not in love with you, so I don't need to fucking fall in love with you for what you could be, off rip. Like
you said you had a lot of stuff to deal with yourself in when you broke up with the toxic relationships.
Yeah.
To find yourself, how did you? You know what I'm saying? Like, was it a therapist? Was it like realizing the same mistakes? Was it your friends telling you? Because I feel like we're in a generation that always loves to shout the problem, but nobody has the solution to the problem.
Absolutely. I think that I found myself in a very, very toxic on again, off again relationship. And I'm not blaming that person. It takes 2 to tango.
Amen.
100% it takes 2 to tango. And we'd break up and I would date a nice, normal guy and we'd be normal. And I would be like, this is boring. And I think that was a big realization for me that I was so in love with chaos because that's all I'd ever known. You know what I mean? Mm. And that I was maybe falling into patterns that I had been raised around, and that I felt like love was good, and love can be good and bad. But I mean, I felt like you had to earn someone's love for it to be real love. I felt like there wasn't push without pull. I felt like the bad moments, you know what I mean? And I'd done so much studying and reading and shit like that about, how you can become so addicted to a toxic relationship, the same way people can become addicted to drugs and alcohol because of the dopamine it provides you when you are pleasing that person, or when you are happy, or when you have those good moments, because of the lack of dopamine and serotonin you have in those low moments. You become dependent and searching for another hit of that dopamine, and it becomes a toxic cycle that you can become obsessed with. And I just remember thinking I don't want to be this person, and I wouldn't want to have kids one day and then see this as love. I don't want to create a household that was like the one I was raised in. I want better. And if that better to me right now is boring. I need to unpack inside why that's boring. And I did start getting therapy, and bless my therapist, and it did help, but I think that it was a lot of like soul searching and learning. And I think that it is an active fight to stay away from that, I guess. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that like, I would have to understand patterns, I guess, and be like, I want to call my ex right now, and I want to fight with them over this, and I want to tell them to just come over and let's try it again and whatever. And I have to actively fight those urges and desires to go to what I know if I want to be better, you know?
I wish you would focus your energy more on focusing on how much your worth is.
100%.
Because I feel like once you realize that, you don't give a shit about what he's willing to give you.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, it's either, bro, you walk into Gucci, they don't care if you can't afford it.
Yeah.
You're not touching it. It's not yours.
100%.
So you should feel that with who you are as a human.
Yeah.
And we make jokes and we talk about how sporadic you are and decisions you made, but out of any girl I've ever met in Hollywood that is at your status of like industry of like creating chaos and the clickbait and all that stuff, you are truly a beautiful soul. And me and her talk about this all the time.
I love you guys.
No, you are a great human being. And I pray that these bad boys that you're into are not going to be the bad boys that raise your kids.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? I really mean that.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I think for a while it exactly was that. I didn't know my worth. And I think at that time I would just be like, no, but I love a bad boy. I love this and whatever. And it took me really getting out of that to be like, no, if you can accept that love, that is what you're thinking of yourself. Even if you don't want to admit that to yourself, if that's the caliber that you're putting yourself at, that is what you think of yourself. And now I think you can look like that bad boy and do all that type of stuff, but I genuinely, like, I'm not going to be with anyone unless they treat me the way I want to be treated. And I'm grateful that my last two little short-lived relations, they were both amazing guys who did treat me amazing and kiss the ground I walk on and all that type of stuff and make me a better person. And I think I will stay on that path, because I think I've done enough of the other one.
Yeah.
You know?
I like when you said kiss the ground I walk on.
And I don't mean that in like an ass.
I know you don't. I know you
way.
don't, because no girl does.
Yeah.
And when I think about when guys, I feel like men who don't know how to get girls they're little mini extremists. They're either too bad, or they're too good.
Yeah.
And it's like it could be a push and pull. She sees that aggressive side of me that every girl likes when it comes out at a good point.
Yeah.
For example, if I see something that's gonna harm her life or the people around her, that dude that's not gonna fucking let shit fly comes out.
Yeah.
But that's when you want it to come out, not when like, oh, who the fuck is that guy at the gym? I don't give a shit. If a guy's hitting on my girl at the gym, good. Let that happen.
Yeah.
That means that she's hot and that somebody wants her.
Yeah.
If my girl's walking around the gym and people are like, excuse me, do you know where the locker rooms? Like, I don't fucking know. That's sad. I don't want that.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to chase a quality girl, you got to respect her at the quality that she's at.
100%. And security is just so important. I that is like the number one thing I look for, especially because I can recognize that dating me, it might not be as easy as dating other people with the things that I do online and the things that I post and the environments I'm in. And I'm a very free-spirited, like wild person and stuff like that. And I see the person I've become when I'm in a relationship where someone is suppressing me from being completely who I am. And it's a sad feeling. And
it's just not fair. Like guys, they see, it's like when before they're with you, they want the idea of you and everything that you represent. But then once they're with you, they're like, oh wait, but now that you're mine, like don't do that. Don't
exactly.
Do this.
And that's just not fucking flying around here at the end of the day. We got lights to keep on. So I gotta fucking, I have to be with someone who for sure is very secure. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I want to bring up something, and I didn't know how to tiptoe around it. And also, so what I'm just going to do is I'm going to ask you, and if you feel uncomfortable and you're like, hey, I don't want to talk about that, we'll just cut. I would really like to know the update in your relationship with your mom. With my parents. If that's okay.
Yeah. I can't talk about a lot of my relationship with my parents for legal reasons, which is kind of crazy. But I did open up about this on H3 recently. So since I was like 12 or 13 years old, my best friend Amari, he lives with me. I don't know if you've ever met him, but he is
I love him.
My world. He's like my brother. His family pretty much adopted me and like took me in when I was like 12 or 13. And for as long as I remember, they very much provided so much of what a parental figure provides. I'm going there this weekend for Easter. Like, we do all of our holidays, and I love them and they love me so much. So
that's your family.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the void that, maybe I needed to fill for parentally is completely filled with them. And Amari has siblings too, which I was born an only child. So that's being adopted into a family of the most amazing people ever and getting siblings out of it, and people I know that love me from the jump and take care of me and do all that. They are truly there and the best people in the world, and I love them. And my relationship with my parents, I mean, my birth parents, it was never really, on my behalf and in my opinion, a great one. It was always very not good. And I ended up talking about that on my MTV reality show, and kind of we went home to Vegas, and I went to Amari's parents' house, and we kind of reminisced on that and my childhood and talked about it a little bit. And maybe about two and a half years ago, I woke up one day to my lawyers calling me saying they received a letter that I was being sued by my parents for slander, for a bunch of money and all this type of stuff. And I already wasn't really talking to them, and I had already I was head underwater in being adopted by Amari's family. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of you really realize there, I will never probably be good with these people again. If you can do that to your own child.
Right. I pray that's not the case. And not for them. Not for them. For you.
Well,
for you.
And I've worked through that a lot in therapy. There is no part of me that is, I've learned a lot about going no contact with people and the benefits of that. And it's very hard when you explain that to people who have a healthy relationship with their parents, because they're but just talk to them, but just be good with them. And I hope one day you guys are good. And so on and so forth. And I completely understand why people say that, because it's that's what they know. Mm-hmm. And the empathy in them and the human in them is I just hope it's so good. And I think that I have peace in knowing what the situation is completely, and not looking for something that's never going to be there, and not hoping, because I spent so much of my childhood, hoping these people would be something they aren't, mm-hmm. and learned at a very young age the pain in trying to change people to be something you want, and hoping that they are something that you want. And I think that there is peace in accepting that maybe someone is never going to give you what you want from them, you know?
I don't know the journey you walked.
Yeah.
And I can never disrespect you in being I understand where you're coming from. But I want to share just a small little thing that I always have conversations with people that have a dead relationship with somebody. And that's how I describe it, dead.
Yeah.
I don't want it, don't need it, don't think it's good for me, vice versa. Lazarus, I don't know if you know who Lazarus in the Bible, he's the one who came back alive, came back alive. And just to really quickly go through the story, Lazarus was Jesus's friend. And that's why the messenger goes, Jesus, your friend Lazarus needs you. He's sick.
Yeah.
And he shows up late purposefully, because the Jewish heritage at the time is if you die and it's been 5 days, then your soul leaves.
Yeah.
So he purposely waited to even not even make sure that they think that he's going to come back because, his soul didn't leave his body. They really wanted it to be dead. And then he comes and he weeps. And I sat there and I was I was just confused. I go, why is a God who knows everything and can bring this man to life, why is he crying?
Yeah.
And what I learned to see is that he was crying because of their faith. And so he tells them to move the rock. He doesn't move himself. He says, you have to move it. And sometimes there's a rock in front of you and you don't even want to touch it because you think what's even behind that is dead.
Yeah.
And you don't want it. And so I'm looking at you now in a very successful place. You're not married. You don't have kids. But I know that one day that if you can make this relationship come back to life, and I pray that God could open up their eyes and they can know what they did to you. Because you're saying, I'm writing it off, it's over. But I know my God could bring things to life. And I just pray that one day your parents could see what they did for you. So that way the home that was broken and that everybody waved their flag saying we're done is repaired. So that way your children don't have to experience this and your bloodline
100%.
no longer have to experience that.
And I appreciate that. I genuinely do. And I appreciate, I appreciate that. I think that one day when I have kids, I will bring them home to Amari's family and they will be so loving and welcoming and amazing. I can't even express. I'm so excited for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I don't think there's any room in me to be longing for anything else at all. Like I'm so excited for that. I mean, I definitely am at the point where I hope my birth parents have peace and die with peace and whatever that like means, you know, and stuff like that. But I'm so happy with where my life is at that, you know, I'm no longer looking for them to realize emotionally what the way I was brought up did to me. You know what I mean? Like I just no longer like I no longer am longing for that. I have peace and maybe understanding. And obviously I get what you're saying. Like you hope and you pray that people can have empathy for maybe how they hurt you. But I also have peace in the fact of realizing that maybe there are people in the world that may live and die and never realize the things that they have done to others. Okay. And that's okay.
100%.
You know,
I like to shoot for past stars.
For sure.
And I think that
for sure.
I look at it and I see it as, it's funny that you I mean, think about it, bro. If you think about who Tana is, if I go home and I talk to my friend Kave, right? My best friend Kave. And I come up to you and I go, hey, you know Kave? And you're going to be like, I don't know who the fuck's Kave. I don't know who Kave is. Kave is my best friend, the most important person in my life. Aww. Sorry, Belle. And he did so much for me, right? But if I go back home and I go, hey, you know, Tana, and he goes, yeah, I know everything about Tana, right? You're under a 0.00001. The chances of being a Tana is a phenomenon. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like in the billions. It's like you became Tana and the world knows you. And when you go back and you said, when I was 15, I would never thought I would be here. Yeah. What I'm saying is sometimes as humans, we are like, no, we write it off. And I know that you're at peace of where your parents are and you don't want it. But I just want even better than what you've already settled in your heart to have.
And I appreciate that.
And that's all I had. And we can move on from it. I just want the absolute best for people that I think deserve it. And your heart deserves the best.
That's so kind. And I think that to attest to that, like it's very important to have people in your life and in your world that do want more or maybe even just different for you than you might want because they love you so much or they love and care about you so much that they want whatever the idea they have for you is, you know, amazing and greater and awesome. And I think that person in people's lives is very valuable and it's awesome that you are that person to the core. And it's inspiring because I hope to be that for all the people around me as well.
You were for me.
I want nothing but the best for the people that I love, whether that's my version of the best or theirs or crazy shit, you know, things. I appreciate that.
Words are important. And I grew up, because I was made fun of so much, I was like, oh, words don't matter. And I even had this conversation with Jessica because my thing growing up was like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Yeah. And so I'm learning that like, bro, like me saying, oh, words don't matter, blah, 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 that was me covering up for my mistakes and not trying to own up to them and realize that it is. And your little, even if you were drunk and at a party and you pulled me aside, your small little lines of words dictated how I would move forward and impulsive. So that's why I take these opportunities to talk to my friends is because, bro, my biggest fear, Tana, and I mean this with all my heart, I put it on my life, I put it on everything that I love. My biggest fear in my life is that one day I stand in front of my creator and he goes, let me show you what you could have done. Look how many people could have changed their directions if you just gave them a little love, because a lot of people take what people give them as like, oh, that's how they are. Oh, they're fine. They're smiling. They're this, they're that. And then we look at Instagram like, oh, she's killing it or he's happy and it's this and it's. I just want to get I used to always say, oh, I'm tired of this generation, blah, blah, blah. And I was watching myself talk about this, but I'm like, you know what? I got to stop hammering my generation and start acting how I want the people around me to act. And how I want to do is hold my friends accountable for the levels of love that I want them to hold. And then 2, be responsible and act how I'm asking other people to act.
100%. I really appreciate what you said about words mattering. And I relate to you on that because I grew up in a very turbulent, volatile environment where I was kind of conditioned at a very young age to think like words don't matter and people are just saying hurtful shit and it is what it is and take it with a grain of salt and whatever. And as I grew up, I realized I really wanted to switch the narrative on that. And you know what I mean? Go out of my way to show people so much love because you don't know what someone's going through. And I think that the things that you say to people mean so fucking much. Like I genuinely, every time I leave the house or I'm around my friends or just people I know, like if I'm thinking something about you, if I can tell you that compliment, if I can check on the person who, like you said, who looks so happy online, or even just someone like you who is always giving love to everyone else. I feel like that was probably my mindset in the moment that I did pull you aside and tell you that about Impulsive, is like George is always giving so much love to everyone else, and people often overlook that person because they're just so happy and they're giving so much love. But more often than not, that's the person who might need it more than anything, you know? And I genuinely really appreciate that because I truly have flipped that narrative in my life, and I think words mean everything.
Amen.
And also too, I mean, you saying that you are in a place where you have peace, you've like come to terms with it. I think that's the most important thing too, for you to be able to like have healthy relationships and see things for what they are, you know? And then who knows what you said, you know, what the future might bring because you've healed. So then you're open to, you know, maybe if there is something in the foreseeable future, there might be. But as long as you're in a place, where you feel good and at peace, I think it's the most important thing. Yeah. Like, sincerely, I'm in my inner working era, my peace era.
Does she look color corrected to you?
At all times.
Bro, it's you shine in such a different way. Every time 100%. I look at you, I just go, how are you that beautiful?
Like her saturation is just on the perfect balance at all times.
Right? You're a filter,
warm,
bro.
It's not too cool. She literally is a filter. I know the one. It's called Cute Baby Face. That's her.
I hate when she gives me advice because I'm like, yeah, no fucking right. You of course you're happy. Look at you, bro. Like you can't have a bad day and look like that.
Yeah,
oh my god. No,
thank you guys.
Do you have anything in your plans? Let's spice things up. I feel like we were just so deep. I want to kind of like get out of that deepness.
I'm here for whatever.
What's on your Tana list? You know what I mean? Like the next 5 years. What do you hope to accomplish, and what are your goals?
I've been getting asked that so much lately. And I
fuck. I just asked it a generic podcast question.
No. But I feel like normally it's not a generic podcast question. It's like synchronicital. But I feel like 5 years ago when I was 19, if you asked me what I would want at 24, everything I could have ever said is not what happened at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I live so fucking, I try to just be as present and in the moment as I can. And I have such peace in whatever the future brings me is like what's meant to be and what will be. It's God's plan. I'm down for whatever happens, and you know what I mean? I'm excited for it, and I'm happy. And I think whenever I hyperfixate too much on what I want things to be, I almost hate that feeling, because then it's like whatever is happening, you're not as present, you're not as grateful, you're not as open-minded to things happening because you were so hyperfixated on, oh, I wanted to be married by 24. I wanted to be this, I wanted to do, you know, like, so I just enjoy things for what they are. And I think that I know it's such a fucking corny, boring answer, but in 5 years, I literally just hope I'm happy wherever I'm at.
No, that's the most wise answer I've ever heard.
It's what everybody's everybody should be able to live more in the present. You know what I mean? And like literally what you said, I did that too. Like I would be such a control freak and like, I want this to end up like this, like this, like this. And if it didn't, I'd be so disappointed.
And then you're like not even like loving what's right in front of you that is happening. Exactly. And then you're gonna look back in 2 years and be like, God, that time was so awesome, and I was I was so hyper focused on what it could have been or what it wasn't, and I've caught myself doing that, and I don't like that. I want to.
There's a lot of sayings that go along with that. They go, you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
There's one that I really been messing with lately, and it's I I love this one. It goes, if you're anxious, you're thinking about the future. If you're depressed, you're thinking about the past. If you're in the present, relax. It's a gift.
100%.
And I'm like, dang, bro, it's a present. You know what I mean?
And it's so true because I'm really good at recognizing my like anxiety patterns now.
Do you think you got that because of the household that you have and you realize like where you came from and so you measure that? Or how is it that you have that wisdom?
I really have no fucking clue, man. I'm just raw dogging this shit and trying to figure it out. But
raw dogging.
Raw dogging life.
I've never been deep and then somebody hit me with I'm raw dogging.
I'm raw dogging life, bro. No, but I noticed that my anxiety patterns, like I have pretty busy days and I like to be very busy. And sometimes to a default, I would notice, you know, I like to be so busy so I don't focus on things. And now I think I have a good balance of proper busy, but I am very extroverted. So I still am just like, go all day. And then I'll finally get home to my bed, maybe smoke a joint, maybe smoke some Tana-bis. Subtle plug there.
No, dude. By the way, what the fuck you?
Yeah,
why have you
Tana-bis?
never sent us this?
It's not out yet. I'll tell you all about it.
You can tell us. Wait, you can't tell us now though.
Point being is I'll smoke and I'll start no, I will tell you. I will tell you. But I just my anxiety patterns would be I'm spiraling over, oh my God, I said this on a podcast and what if this person's going to be upset about it in 5 fucking days, or oh my God, I could have done more today, or oh my God, so on and so forth. But it's all about the future. And at the end of the day, like sometimes I have to sit there and tell my brain like, yo, you don't know any of these things. So what the fuck is the point of spiraling about them? You have no idea how any of these things are going to pan out. So shut your mind off and go the fuck to bed. You know?
Super interesting. Super interesting. She tapped me because I deal with that. And the one person that I was blessed enough to ironically sit next to on a plane was Josh Richards. And he had the same mindset.
Yeah.
And so I realized that I'm flattered to be like-minded with people like you guys, where you guys are haunted by not doing enough.
Oh, haunted.
Haunted.
It used to plague me, and I still will notice the patterns of those thoughts, of it plaguing me. And I remember I had this recently, I think, maybe like 3 months ago. I got home, and I was like in my bathroom, like taking off my makeup or whatever. And I was sitting there in my own thoughts. And I was just thinking like, oh my God, you didn't do this today. You didn't send in this thing. You didn't work hard enough on this. You didn't blah, blah, blah. Like really just doing typical Tana. You're not doing enough, whatever. And I had this out of body experience where I was like, wait, but I did this week. And I did this and I did this and I did this. And I went on this show and I killed it. And you know what I mean? I worked so hard on this for my brand and I'm doing what I love and I'm working with all these people that I love so fucking much and I'm so happy with the people I'm surrounded in and I did this and I did this and I did this. And I was just like, whoa, like you need to start focusing on what you are doing versus what you're not doing. Yeah. And not to a narcissistic point, but to a point where it's like recognize
healthy
the fucking work you're putting in.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
like,
so easy to get like stuck on the negative. You could think of a million things that like you didn't do and could have done, you know?
100%. And it's like, bitch, you've got about 12 hours in a day to do it and you're doing your fucking best. Like relax. Yeah. And I still.
You have my number. And I realize I've been making a core little community and I've been having deep conversations with certain people in my life. And I said, hey, when you need to talk, because a lot of people don't want to talk because they don't want to hear people to give advice.
Yeah.
But if you just want to talk, because sometimes when you talk, just talk, you can hear yourself and be like, okay, you know what? I'm just overthinking it. You have my number. I'm not going to give you any advice. If you ever feel like you're
that.
like I just need to talk, call me.
I appreciate that so much. And I've noticed that with myself as well. Like for a while, like whenever someone comes to me with their problem, I am such a like hyper fixer. Like I want to fix everything and give them my best rock star stellar advice I possibly can. I've been through a lot of shit. So usually I can just take out my Rolodex of shit I've been through and be like, well, in chapter 4, I did this. So either don't do that or, you know, but sometimes someone just wants someone to fucking listen to them and just someone to vent to. And it is just as vital as giving someone a bunch of advice. Like sometimes someone just needs to feel heard and maybe needs a wall to scream at type of thing. And
nothing satisfies the ears more than when you're going through something and you're just expressing yourself and you just hear, yeah. Because that's all you need to hear is you just want to make sure you're not crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you just want to make sure that like what you're going through is not something that no one else has gone through. And as humans,
100%.
we're like little, as much as we say, oh, I'm not a sheep, we are sheep. And we all like to migrate in the same area together.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes the FOMO kicks in an opposite spectrum when we're in a dark funk and we're like, dude, no one else understands this.
Oh yeah.
And then you just hear somebody go, oh yeah, I deal with that too.
Oh yeah.
And now it just rests in your heart.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. I try to be that person, and I really value people that are that. So I appreciate you saying that. And
well, you got us now.
It is so true. I love you guys. Sometimes you do just need people to fucking hear you and know you're not crazy. That like happened to me the other day. It was like I'm not doing enough brain, and I was talking to someone. I think it was Jeff. I don't remember who it was, and I was just like bitching about like they're like, or I was talking about comparison. I don't know who it was. I was talking about comparison, and I was just like, yeah, like I always find myself like, you know what I mean? Same thing with I don't need to compare myself to everything, but I find my brain in that pattern. They were like, well, what are you comparing yourself to? And I was like, I just saw a video of Logan frog splashing, and I was like, I'm not doing enough. Like what, blah, blah, blah. And I said it out loud, and I was like, are you going to go join the WWE, Tana? Yeah. Like, are you fucking nuts? Like, the fact that was like a real thought in my brain that I'm seeing Logan do that, and I'm like, I'm not doing enough. Am I going to go join the WWE? And the second I said it out loud, I was like, oh, I'm insane. I can just move on.
I would love to see you at the WWE.
I tweeted this the other day. Sincerely, I think it would be such a funny era for me. Just imagine me doing that. Like, come on. Imagine me. All 4 ropes, jumping, full-blown frog splash. I think, it's not in the cards. I remember I thought it was... outfit. I would be so cute, right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just need some
What would your wrestler name be?
Oh, my God. I have no idea, but probably something paying homage to the fact that like everything on me is like fake. Like my whole face is going to break. Like my veneers and my nose job and my lip filler and everything. I don't know what that would be, but.
I'm trying to think.
I remember in the YouTube boxing era, I like really thought I was going to box for a second.
No.
And
who did you want to box?
That was the thing. I didn't. I wanted to box the paycheck. I wanted that bag.
You hunt for bags, huh?
It's the hustler in me. I think I always will. I
think
love
I'm the only one out of my crew that I truly don't look for a bag.
And good for fucking you.
You know why? It's just a cheat code. And I'm going to say this bold-facedly. Like, oh, dude, no one knows more than these guys. I've turned down way more money than I've made. I could be a lot more richer than I am now and not be struggling to, like, what's the next step? It's because I know deep in my heart, as much as I appreciate Logan, as much as I appreciate Celsius, as much as I appreciate the things that put bread on this table and money in my team's pockets, my blessings unfold and come from God. So when I know this in my head and I truly, truly feel this, I could turn down a gambling ad because I go, no, I'm not going to promote this gambling ad because God's not going to favor a man who goes and promotes things that's going to break homes. I'm 100%. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. 100%. And so this is what I've realized. If I walk in this light and in this road, then it doesn't matter where I'm at in my career. I'm happy.
100%.
And so I don't know if
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I fully agree with that. I definitely turn down things as well. I'm not like a psychopath. I'll do anything for money type of thing. I've had moments in my life where I got caught up in things like that. But I feel good now knowing that I won't do anything for money that doesn't feel authentic to who I am and to my path, and that if I'm going to feel like shit promoting it to the people who have gotten me to where I am, like it doesn't matter. There's no amount of money. You know what I mean? I agree with that 100%. I guess, but I will say I am addicted to success and to grind and to that feeling. Like I love that. As you should
hunt that.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But when it starts turning who you are as a human being and how you treat the people around you, that's when it becomes greed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And just unhealthy as fuck for your mind, and just honestly awful. Like sincerely, there has to be a very healthy balance there, which I've learned.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a really. Oh, Jessica's so funny, dude. Hey, the fact that you look like a stoner and you said that is hilarious. She literally goes, psst, psst. I thought she was going to hit me with some, like, ask her about the most important thing that she literally goes, psst. Because we skipped the weed part. That's my sisters, ladies and gentlemen.
I love you. I fucking love you. So Thank you for that.
You have
the Tana-bis team thanks you for that.
Tana-bis.
Yeah.
Great
name.
That's
Thank you.
Great name. Do you have your own? Okay, so like how the fuck you have a farm where you grow?
Yeah, no, I'm personally growing it. I would always say that with my wine brand too. I'd be like, I'm stomping the grapes. Like
in your overalls.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
so are you?
I am not. I wish I was.
Are you partnering with like a good brand? Like why did you want to do this?
It's my brand, but it's available on Glassdoor. It's available through Sticky. It'll hopefully eventually be available on so many different platforms to be able to order it, and then eventually dispensaries, which is very exciting. About almost 2 years ago, I mean, a longer time in the making, I started a wine brand, and I had so much fun with that because I was always, especially at that time, so much my image was party girl, and I was partying and having so much fun and being wild, and I loved bringing it everywhere and giving it to people and making it and loving it and just being obsessed with it. And eventually I wanted to kind of expand that. And I've always, for the most part, always been a stoner. I took a little bit of a break for a while, but I'm kind of back out my stoner era. Sorry, era.
I think
we need an era count.
It hits hard, bro. Like,
but
it's and people who say that marijuana isn't addicting things, they're lying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're lying.
Anything, I mean, anything can be an addicting thing, especially something that alters your brain and your thoughts and your whatever. And you have to be very, very careful with your relationships with these types of things. And I've always said that, and I always will.
What's an addictive thing that you have in your life right now that you're trying to break?
Nicotine.
As she puffs the whole podcast.
Nicotine, for sure. This is by far, I think, my most crippling addiction. I feel
Bro,
like
how do you smoke that? You know that
it's a battery. It's with cancer in it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, and you know what pisses me off more than anything?
What?
You tell people, hey, that's gonna kill you. They'll list what is killing them inside of it, and they'll still do it. Mm-hmm. You literally just called it a batter, and you're hitting it.
I know.
Now you're polluting my area.
I know. It's so. Like, I sleep with it in my hand. Like, it feels...
Tanner Fox, bro. This is Tanner Fox.
It feels... That's so funny. People... I have friends that call me that just randomly as, like, a random nickname.
Tanner Fox?
Yeah.
They call you my friend's name?
Yeah.
Do you hang out with Tanner Fox?
Not really. I have.
He's, like, the sweetest human being you'll ever meet.
One of my best friends hooked up with him on a private jet that I was on.
I was there for that. I was on the jet.
Were you?
Yeah, I watched it happen. They did it in the bathroom.
George.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of you being on that jet.
Yeah, you're drunk a lot.
Yeah. I was definitely drunk.
You were sleeping on the bed, and then the person that you were talking about was sleeping on Tanner. And I watched the whole thing.
That's
you know how weird it was being on a
crazy.
jet with all these new friends, and I'm like, this is becoming an orgy, and half of the people here are sleeping.
That's crazy. I never knew that about. I never knew
That's
that happened with
insane,
him.
George. I don't remember a lot of that day. Like, that was a drunk, fun Miami leaving.
We
crazy
weren't
day.
even like friends at that point. That's where we met. We met on a jet. High five.
That's honestly incredible that we met on a jet that we didn't pay for too. Thank God. Seriously.
Dude. Who paid for that jet?
I don't know.
That was a nice jet too.
I have no idea.
From here.
I don't
to
ask
Miami.
questions.
You're just like, jet? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. That's so fucking funny.
I gotta ask you something. Oh shit, I gotta ask you something.
Okay.
Because I said jet, and then I made a joke, and then I remembered. Sorry, I'm doing it a roundabout. I gotta stop doing that. What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
What are my thoughts on Andrew Tate?
What?
Is that what you're asking me?
I just want to know your thoughts on Andrew Tate.
Oh my God. Okay. We want to talk about icks and men. That's immediate red flag if a man references Andrew Tate at all. Just putting that out there. But. And it's, I just love to clown the bros who like, and it's so funny too, the way the bros who, like love it. And they'll be like, no, man, like clearly his morals are wrong. But like, look at this clip. He said the funniest thing. It's like, dude, just suck his dick already. Like you're obsessed. He is so funny. I love to, and I don't mean I'm laughing with him. I mean, I'm laughing at him. I love to just laugh at someone so fucking insane like that. And there is something to always be said about a polarizing figure and the way they're able to captivate such an insane audience. But it becomes scary knowing the age range maybe, or maybe even just the naive following of that. Like, I guess it's scary to think about, like, because I look at it and I'm like, that's so funny. And I'm sure you guys do too. That's so funny. What he's saying is so outlandish. Holy fuck, that's like how? Like, he
trolls a lot, but there is some stuff that he says, and I'm like, I could get behind that. I understand that.
Well, but I mean also the fact that the trolling of it all, there are hundreds of thousands of young
are taking that.
People who are taking that and applying that maybe to their lives, or
that's terrible.
Then turning those words into actions. And then, I saw some TikTok about like some like teacher or something, like there was a young boy.
The alpha? He's like, I'm the alpha.
Oh no, what the fuck is that?
Oh, that's the one I just watched.
Oh, I don't.
Dude, I thought we watched the same video and I was like, yo, that's crazy.
No, like just some teacher at her school saw some young boy like talking so awfully to all the girls and was basically just saying like Andrew Tate taught me this. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, somewhere in the UK.
I think so. And it's just crazy to me to think that is like teaching a generation, and it's wild, but you know.
They had I think it was that school or something like that, but in the UK they literally had a lecture hall for the students, and because the teachers wanted to give them a lecture about how to not follow Andrew Tate and to not listen to them, and so they did an entire lecture on how Andrew Tate is not good, which I think is insane because
which is just crazy. Like I don't know. It gives me a lot of material and jokes to crack, and it's funny, but I'm scared, I guess, for the impressionable youth that might take that.
So if he asked you on a date and he was like, Tana, you filthy girl.
Can I be so real with you? I slid in his DMs. I mean, let me tell you why. And I would go on.
No.
And I would
you slid into Andrew Tate's
absolutely.
DM?
I'm going to tell you why, though, okay?
You're trying to fuck?
No. And I would never fuck him. I promise you this. I would never. He probably wouldn't even fuck me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's any of that. But I did it, and I would go on the date for the bit, for the plot. Let's just be real. Like, I DM'd him in hopes that
I think you would go on a date with him and then come back and be like, guys, you wouldn't even believe he's not even really
exactly.
like that.
Oh, you think he'd win me the fuck up?
I think he would,
Tana
bro.
2 years ago, she would have.
Nah, dude, Tana 2 minutes ago would. I think, no, I have a feeling he's a suave dude, bro. I think he would capture you.
I don't know, man. I don't think he could. Even if he was amazing in person, I would still be like, I would have the ick from the online shit for sure. So I don't think I would, but I would go on the date, and I did slide in the DMs, hopefully seeking an interaction because I love to do shit for the plot. I love to do shit for the bit. I would love to do that and be able to come back and sit down on a podcast and say what happened.
I'll text him and make sure he goes on.
Please do.
Yeah.
Like
Tana, I don't have his number.
Honestly, with the Logan and Mike,
did you think I was part of his club where I was like, hey, Tate, listen, bro, need you to do me a favor?
I think you walk a little gray area with the Logan and Mike of it all. Like, one of them definitely have his number. Let's be real. You know what I mean?
They hate him, and I was. You know what's so funny? I really was on the other side of things with them. Like, all the shit that they did, I really was on the opposite side, and maybe that's why Impulsive was when it was good, like with us, like it was fucking amazing.
It gives a good balance. You need people to have different opinions and different viewpoints, which you really do.
Yeah, but also Mike was like acting like he liked them for a long time and then changed.
And then switched
up.
Sometimes I love to complicate my life for the bit. I really do. I'm like, things are so smooth. What can I do to spice it up right now?
Do me a favor, because I really just want to picture this in my head. Where is your perfect date with Andrew Tate?
My perfect date with Andrew Tate? This is hilarious, by the way. Like, just that sentence is fucking hilarious.
And by the way,
honestly,
you're taking him on a date. Like,
I'd visit him in Russian prison. I want to be a visitor. Imagine. Come on. Are you kidding me? Imagine he's like, can you smuggle this in for me? And it's just like a keister or something.
Little
right
through the glass action.
Yeah. Like.
I thought she was talking dirty when she's like, could you smuggle this?
Yeah. I don't know. I just say, if I'm doing it, it's for the bit. So I would want to really just drive that home, I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we should end it there. I think we can't beat
all this wholesome shit. We ended with fucking me shoving shit up my ass to meet Andrew Tate in Russian
your
prison.
Dream date.
Oh my God.
Tana's dream.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to have you back on my podcast
anytime. And I want to have y'all Uncanceled at some point. We're so excited for season 2 and
I'm excited.
having guests on, and it's going to be so fun. And we'll get you to talk about some rogue ass, off-brand, not George Janko shit, and it'll be great.
I would love that. Also, I'm not even kidding. One day, God willing, when I have all of my things kind of already running and doing well. I want to talk to you about doing a podcast because I feel like
I think
me and you having
kind
some
of a
guests,
frenemies vibe,
bro.
You know what I mean? Same thing. Like,
I think
sound reasoning, crazy girl.
You have your own like world with Cancel.
Absolutely.
I have my beautiful little thing that I got going on.
Absolutely.
And then we meet in the middle for some dangerous conversations.
Absolutely. Or me and Jeff can have you right on Jeff FM, and we'll have the new Impulse. Watch out, Logan. Watch out, Mike. New trio.
That's a good
that would be fucking hilarious.
We need to do it soon.
But just do me a favor. Put me in a spot where no one looks at me or talks to me, so I feel like
absolutely
I used to feel. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and also join our Patreon. Tana and Belle are going to be fully naked for the next podcast.
And I've always said that.
Right.
Yeah.
and Andrew Tate's going to be on it. So trust me, it's something you guys are going to want to watch. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.